So I'm gonna take Bree to the good old Home Depot today. She's got to get some materials, and well, I do too. So I guess it's a trip for both of us. But first I have to unload all these posts that I got from Tractor Supply the other day. It's gonna be a rainy day, so I don't know how much I can really get done on the fence. So while I unload these, I will tell y'all about my flight yesterday and tell y'all how all that went. So yesterday I had my very first lesson in flight school, and it wasn't anything like I thought it was gonna be. It actually was a lot different. So yesterday, a big part of what I learned is how to pre-flight the airplane. So I had to go out there. I walked all the way around the airplane. I had to check all the ailerons. I had to check the flaps. I had to check the fuel. There's these little tubes underneath the wings, and you have to take this tube and put it on there, and it squirts out fuel. And then you look at it, you got to make sure, first of all, that it's the right color. It should be like a light blue color. And then also, you have to check and make sure there's no water in the fuel. Like say it rained or something, you don't want any water in your fuel. You don't want an airplane to die while it's up in the sky. You know why. I'm not meaning to rhyme. Was that also a rhyme? Oh boy, let's move on to something else. And then, so anyway, so I walked all the way around the airplane, checked everything, made sure everything was good, checked the oil. You know, I actually did check the oil. I might not check the oil in my Argo, but I checked the oil in this airplane. So the next thing I learned how to do is how to, holy moly, that thing was like Donkey Kong, almost took me out. But we started up the airplane, and I learned how to taxi over to the runway. So after you start up the plane, I just gave it, just a little bit of throttle. I know where the brakes are and the rudders. They're right above each other, but they're down by your feet. And so when you go, you're sitting down, right? And to turn right, you're just gonna gently push down that right rudder, and your plane's gonna turn that way, turn back left rudder. There has to be a lot of braking involved, because at one point, I wasn't literally flying, but I was going so fast, taxiing, that I think we were about to lift off. I was mashing on the brakes there for a minute. I was panicked. But yeah, taxiing is actually a lot of fun. It's actually a lot of fun because you're driving with your feet. It's a lot different than a normal machine to drive. So taxied over to the runway. There was a line of planes. There were like 2 or 3 planes in front of us. I just parked in line. Plane comes down and lands. A plane pulls out, takes off. Plane comes down and lands. Plane pulls out, takes off. Well, now it's our turn, so we wait for our plane to go by. We wait for the plane that was landing to go by. He touches down. We get a call over the radio, 93464, cleared for takeoff. So give it a little bit of throttle, taxi around there. Keep in mind, I am controlling the rudders at this point. I'm controlling where the airplane's going. I'm watching the gauges, watching my speed. Takeoff is at 65 knots, so we're going. Give it full throttle, going down the runway. Well, I'm not good at taxiing yet. I don't quite have the hang of it. So I'm going down the runway, and my plane's going wee, 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 wee. And I'm just like terrified. There's so much to keep up with. You got to keep your plane going straight with your feet. You got to don't turn on the stick here. You want to keep that straight. You're trying to make sure you're going straight down the runway. You're also trying to look at 65 knots down here. But let me tell you, the second it hits 65, we pull up. I'm going up. I'm in full control of the airplane. She did not touch the airplane, not one time. I did the takeoff successful, leveled out the plane, went. She turned us to a heading. So a heading is, I'm supposed to be unloading post. I've given up on this job. But a heading is the direction that, well, you're supposed to head. So there's this gauge, and it has a green light, like this notch. And that shows you where your heading is, and then it shows your airplane, where it's going. And so as you turn, the gauge will come around to the top, and you'll be going right at your heading. But what you also have to do is climb up to a certain altitude and stay in that range, because if you get out of that range, you can crash with another plane. I mean, that's the clearance that you have to fly in, is this specific altitude, and so you got to be watching for traffic, you know. So there's a lot of multitasking going on here. But yeah, so we got up to 1,500 feet at first, and then she gave me a heading, and I turned on the heading. So whenever you turn, a lot of times your plane will either rise up or dip down. So, and just from watching YouTube videos and other pilots fly, that's a thing that I know to watch for and to not do. And oh my gosh, guys, whenever I turned that plane, whenever she gave me the heading, and I went around turning that plane, like I stayed at 1,500 feet on the dot on a sharp turn, just, you know, plane banked over, going around, and she starts, I hear her in the headset, she just starts screaming and clapping and yelling, going, oh my gosh, you're good, you're gonna be so good. So that's good. That's good to hear that on my second flight, the instructor was so excited that she started screaming, I'm gonna be good, I'm gonna be good. So that's good. That gives me a lot of confidence in flying now. Now, I don't think flying is something that you ever want to get too comfortable with, because then maybe bad things will happen, but I don't know. We all know me. But then we got up there. I learned I climbed from 1,500. I had to climb all the way to 3,000 feet. And then I had to drop back down to 1,500 feet. And then I had to climb up to 3,000 feet while turning on a new heading, so that was fun. I flew the plane all the way around, slowed us down, brought us right down to the runway, and then she took controls and landed the plane. So I'm not to the point of landing the plane yet. I don't even, I know how in my head how to do it, but whenever you're coming down to the runway, there are so many, you gotta be going the right speed, you gotta do your flaps, there's just a lot of stuff that I haven't learned yet. So I'm excited to learn all that. It's gonna be fun. I've had a lot of fun so far. I've only been on 2 flights, but I am officially signed up for school. I have the scheduler, so I can go schedule all of my flights out for months and months, or however long it might take. So yeah, we're rocking and rolling. I will just say this for sure, flying is the most addicting thing that I think I've ever done in my life. And like sitting here, like driving the Argo around, I'm trying to pull up on it, but it won't go up in the sky. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. I just want to fly. So I'm trying to go get online right now. I'm going to go schedule out some flights, because let me tell you, apparently everyone loves to fly because this stuff gets booked up quick. Bye guys. Have a great day.